Hey there. So, in this video, we'll be talking about Java Web Tokens. What are they and how can we decode them, especially decoding them using CyberChef? Okay, let's get started. The header, here's your header, and it's separated by a dot or period. So you have dot, and then you have your payload, and then after that you have your signature. The signature is a hashed of the payload, the header and payload. This is a hashed form. And everything here is base64. As you may know, in HTML and JavaScript, you always use base64 as like a thing. So here's an example of a JWT web token, a Java web token. And there's a dot there and a dot there. Let me just copy this. And again, this first two part, everything is base64. So this first two part is the first two part can be easily decoded. So let me just paste this here. And yes, you don't need this part. This last part is just a signature. So if you base64 it, like from base64, so base again, this is a CyberChef. So you can if you go to Google here and type in CyberChef, and it'll bring you to that website, which is this one here, this website. Again, you want to go from base64. There it is. Here. So you do from base64 because everything is base64, and it gives you the data right here. Gives you all this data, and then you can change this data, and then you can create a new signature. But uh, how do we verify our signature? That's a good point. So everything up here everything up here is base64, right? The signature is based on the data up here, right? So if you want to change the data, you would change it here, and then you would base64 and you would get a new string here. I'm not going to change the data, so I'm going to leave it as is. And what I'm going to do is, well, let's just close this. Okay, so we have no output yet. So what you want to do is you want to encrypt this using HMAC. Close this, HMAC. More specifically, if you look here, it says here, if you look at the base64 data from the header, it tells you that it uses HMAC SHA-256. That's what HS stands for. HS is HMAC SHA-56. And yeah, that's all you really need to know. So here is HMAC. They say it full, but HS is just short form for HMAC, and hashing function is 256. So the H is from this H part, and the S is from this SHA function, and then 256 is the function, the rest of the function. And the key here, if you look at our data here, we to make this here, we have to give it a key. We need to encrypt it with a key, and the key is secret. So let's do that. Type in secret, and the secret, this key here is in UTF-8, and UTF-8 is basically like the regular everyday English that we speak. So if you type things something normal like this, then you have to use UTF-8, and everything else is just it's not like how we speak. It's not like English. It's like code. So UTF is you're using that for most of the time. So you get this you use HMAC and you hashing it with this function here, and this here gets transformed into this output. Now what you may not know, if you look here, it's not the same thing. Because if you look here, the last three letters is AAF. AAF here. And over here, the last three letters is EQ8. So what's going on? Well, what CyberChef doesn't tell you is that its output is in hexadecimal. So this is all here is actually in hexadecimal, not base64. So what you do is you go up here, you gotta prepare it, type in hex from hexadecimal because it's already in hexadecimal. So from hexadecimal, the delimiter, just leave it as auto or leave it as is. And then from here, now you're converting it from hexadecimal to, I believe, ASCII. And then you go here and you type in base64. You want to convert it to base64. And over here, you may want to use URL safe. All it really does is just gets rid of the equal sign, it gets rid of the padding at the end. And if you look at this at the end, it's uh, EQ8 at the end here, and which is exactly the same thing as up here, EQ8. This here is the entire this here is the entire signature here, and that's exactly the same thing you see here, right? So that's how you can get the signature for using CyberChef, and you can do you can go backwards if you want to get the reverse. Okay. Um, Actually, there are websites that's dedicated to this. Like this, I'm just showing you how to do it on CyberChef. But aside from CyberChef, there are websites that's completely dedicated to this. Dedicated to this. For instance, over here, if you put in the headers in JSON format and the payload in JSON format and the and the key here, again, this is UTF-8. It gives you the web token right here, which is exactly the same thing you see up here. So this is like you can use that website. The website might be a little bit quicker, but I like using CyberChef because it's I want to see all the steps. And you can also decode it. You can put this here, the web token, and it will decode you this because the first two parts is just base64, so you can easily decode that. And then the last part here just tells you what the secret is. Right there. And also CyberChef has a verification uh, application as well. So let's go back up here. Let's get our web token. Let's copy this. Go back to CyberChef. Let's paste that there. So we have a web token here, 3 parts. And up here, if you type in JWT, and here's verify, put that here. And here your key, you put on secrets, and you see everything is in green, and it gives you the output. That's verification that yes, it is this hash, right? This hasher corresponds to this data right here. Okay, so that is about it. Actually, one thing I want to show you. I'm not going to show you the process, but I'm going to show you how it's done. I wrote down the command here. So if you're using Linux, I believe there is a function called hmec sha 256, and you just use it like this. So right now I'm creating a variable called hash, and I'm basically hashing the I'm getting the signature here. So this here gets the hash is getting the signature. I'm using the key here, secret. And once I get that, then I'm testing it out. So I go test, and I want to use that in double quotes. So I'm testing if hash equals this key here, which is up here, and if it equals say it says here if it equals, you echo true. If it doesn't equal, it echoes false. So if you put this in your Kali Linux, it should give you a verification if uh, if this is a valid web token. Okay, now that's about it.